Secretary General of the Kenya National Union of Nurses. Mambo vipi?
Mambo fresh. Mambo poa kabisa.
Mko sawa?
Tuko sawa.
Nurses wako imara?
Wako imara kabisa.
Why did the nurses choose not to join the doctor strike?
You see, you don't join a strike. You go on strike. And when you go on strike, the issues that make you go on strike must have been processed legally to the level where now you say there's a deadlock. Then you can go on strike. You either go on strike or you go to court. So as far as we are concerned, we do not have issues that had reached the level of going on strike.
But you still have issues.
We do have issues, and those issues are being handled by the union and the government, and some of them have been resolved.
So you're satisfied with how the government is handling nursing issues?
We may not be satisfied, but the law requires that issues must be processed legally. You cannot go on a strike when the issues have not been properly processed, because we have a recognition agreement that gives us steps that you must follow for you to go on strike. And as far as we are concerned, we have been engaging the government on all those issues. Some of them have been resolved and others were still resolving, only that others were created along the way. Like the issue of the interns, it was not there before. What was there was that interns have not been posted. It was not about the payment. But in the process of now of trying to address the issue of interns not going for internship, the Ministry of Health told us it was looking for 4.8 billion for them to go, because the numbers have increased. Right. And in the process of waiting for 4.8 billion, doctors went on strike. Then during that period, the government came up and said, look, now we are not going to pay you 200,000, we're going to pay you 70, nurses not 100,000, we're going to pay you 50. Now another issue came up. And the way we look at things is that government has continued to come up with other issues that are fueling the disputes that's going on, for example, with the doctors. But for us, the issue of the interns, when the circular came from SRC, the direction from the nurses on the ground, from the National Governing Council, was go to court and challenge that circular, which we have done, and we have successfully done it. When we went to court, other doctors went to court in Eldoret. They got interim orders staying that circular. Yesterday we were in court, and the court said we already have interim orders that have stayed this circular. So the circular does not exist. So our matters have been consulted. They will be heard in Eldoret again today.
And are you hopeful?
We already have orders. The circular from SRE does not exist. So as far as I'm concerned, our nurses are supposed to go on internship, and they're supposed to be paid in accordance with the schemes of service.
But SG, listen, the government claims that it has no money. That's what the government is saying. And yet we've just seen appointment of CASs has been approved by the SRC. I mean, does that make sense in this country?
No, the government has money. The issue of telling us there's no money does not exist, because even yesterday, the government announced that it has 6.1 billion, which it has. And they said the 6.1 billion is going to be used, 2.1 billion to take care of the Mama Linda Bama project. And the other amount, about 4 billion, was going to be used to pay arrears for the CBA emanating from the basic salary for the doctors. So where have they gotten this money from if they could not get 4.8 billion for interns? The government has money. Kenya has money. We are not a broke country. We have never been broke since independence. This is a program that has been running. It has been being funded by the government. We cannot only be broke when we have the Kenya Kwanza administration. The Jubilee administration were paying interns, and we didn't have this problem. So money is there.
Money is there. Tell me, paint a scenario for us. Now that doctors are on strike in some institutions, what goes on a daily basis? Are the nurses taking over? Who is running the hospitals?
No, nurses cannot take over functions of doctors. That what I've said before, it's not legally binding. If you're a nurse and you purport to perform a function that's supposed to be performed by a doctor, you can be prosecuted, because that is professional malpractice. The only institutions that are running competently today where the strike is happening, because it's not happening everywhere, like here in Nairobi there's no strike. Where strike is happening, the only institution that is functioning is a dispensary, because a dispensary is run 100% by nurses. You won't find a clinical officer, you would find a doctor. As you go up, nurses are also running antenatal clinics. They're also running what we call MCH FP clinic, vaccination of children, checking with the mothers who are coming for antenatal care and postnatal care. Those clinics are running. But the main hospital, right from level 4, apart from MCH, MCH clinics, the other services cannot be offered without doctors or clinic officers. They cannot.
You just mentioned Nairobi is not on strike. I thought it was a nationwide strike.
No. It's not. It's nationwide, yes, but you see, it's not everywhere that people are on strike. Because you see, like Nairobi, here doctors are not on strike. They are working. And they agreed with the governor that when they go for demonstration, only those who are not on duty should go for demonstration. So they are not working. But you see, I can't speak for doctors because I'm not a doctor. Nurses are not on strike. So I do not want to start wading in issues which do not concern me.
The other thing we've noticed about nurses is that many are leaving the country. Many are seeking greener pastures overseas.
Very much. And that's why I'm saying this money that the government may not be appreciating on nurses, why can they proceed for internship as we continue to fight for them in courts? Finish internship, go look for job. Not even look for job. Jobs are waiting for them outside, in Germany, in UK, in US, in Australia. There are so many jobs. Right now, most Masinamura University of Science and Technology, University of Eastern Africa, Baraton, and Mount Kenya University, all finishing students of BSNs are all going to work in Germany. So there are jobs outside there. If our government does not appreciate you, there is somebody outside there appreciating you. Finish your college, get your certificate, go and work outside.
And send money home.
Send money home, of course, if you want. If you want, you can be a citizen there and stay there. Because the home doesn't want you.
But isn't that what we call brain drain?
I don't know what brain drain is. Because for me, as far as I'm concerned, we train to serve the world. And if there's a section of the world that requires, and whoever is training us does not need us, then we go. Because brain drain it means that why should I sit here, I have no job, and somebody wants me outside there and I have the skill? I'll go and work, help my people back at home, establish my own life. You can't sit here saying, I can't go work outside because of brain drain. Who cares about you? No one cares about you. The BSN, the degree holders, are not even being employed in proper numbers in Kenya. So they have found solace outside. In the developed countries, they appreciate education, they appreciate our nurses, and that's why they're going out in droves. Every other month, they are going out.
And you're encouraging them as the Secretary General. You're saying, you know what, you go. And they need to.
How will I stop them? And they have no jobs. And those who are employed are being underpaid. If a contract nurse today gets a job to work in the UK and is being paid 800,000 per month, he's left with 400 after taxation and has paid his bills, you're left with 300 or 400,000 to save. Why would you want to stay here? Where you are being paid 40,000, you are being told, and it's being taxed. I will go like yesterday, even if it were myself. People say, oh, union, you need members. I don't need members who are starving to die. Let them go, all of them. Kenya does not have workers. Let the unions die, we go home, all of us. Because there will be no one to work, there will be no nurse, there will be no need for union. But those who still work at home, we must have a vehicle through which their rights and interests can be channeled through. Yeah.
And what if we have a deficit of nurses in the meantime?
We have a big deficit of nurses, a very big one. We have about 31 at the county government, and the national government about 4,000 nurses. That gives you 35,000 against the required of 150,000 nurses in Kenya, both private and public. So in the private sector, we have about 15,000 plus 35 in the public sector. That gives you about 50,000 nurses, and what is required is 150. So the deficit is about 100,000. If you go to dispensaries in Kenya, they have a maximum of one nurse in every dispensary. The procedure and the law requires 3, so that even when one is on off, 2 are working. When one is working during the day, another one can be on call at night. But in Kenya, that's not possible. You have to find where there is a nurse, he works 24 hours. When he goes on leave or he falls sick, the dispensary closes down. So the shortage is so big, it can be demonstrated by using a dispensary where you only have one nurse. When you are sick, closes down. When you go on leave, it closes down. That's how dire the situation is.
And what is the ministry doing about that? When you talk to them, what are they saying?
You see, the ministry has promised to employ 20,000 health workers. The president made that pledge under the capacity building program. Out of those 20,000, they say they'll employ 9,000 nurses, 6,000 clinical officers, And they are employing these ones specifically to go and work at our dispensaries, because we have 9,000 dispensaries in Kenya. So they are taking, every dispensary is going to be given one nurse in Kenya. We are yet to see that actualized.
So what do you, when you talk to them, what do they say?
They have said they're going to employ.
So you're delaying a strike of your own. That's what you're doing. You're delaying.
Which one?
The nurses' strike.
I have no powers to call a strike. Many people don't understand how unions work. Unions belong to members. For example, you saw the doctors' union. They went and negotiated with the government, agreed on a return to work formula, went to their council. The council rejected. That the same process of calling it off the strike is the same process you used to call on the strike. So when they were going on strike, the council authorized. And the council also has no powers to authorize that strike unless they have spoken with the doctors on the ground. They have agreed that yes, these grievances are okay. Government has not resolved over this period of time. We authorize you to go to Nairobi and authorize the General Secretary to issue a strike notice. In my case, when I asked the National Governing Council, which comprises 2 officials from each branch, we have about 48 plus branches, they told me clearly they are not ready for a strike at the moment. They told me, continue negotiating, and for the issue of the interns, go to court. So if they have told me like that, how can I call a strike? Who will go for that strike? They have already told me they don't want. So me as Panyako and any other general secretary has no powers to call a strike if the organs within the union constitution has not approved him to do so.
Yeah, but that's just delaying the obvious. I mean, if the government doesn't meet your demands, they might change their minds.
Which demands? You know, shortage has been there for many years. And I can tell you, Chef, before devolution happened, we had about 8,000 nurses in public sector employment. Immediately after devolution, these nurses have been moved to 8,000 to 31,000 in county governments. I have to appreciate that. There is something that has been done by these county governments, because I am a union and I can see the numbers increasing. For example, a county like Machakos, Mutua, the former governor, I think Mutua, found 400 nurses. He hired 800. He is the only governor that has hired the highest number of nurses after devolution. 800. And if you go to Machakos, you'll get 1,200 nurses today. Of course, because of green pasture, people going out of the country, others dying, and others natural attrition, and others retiring, and others just resigning. They get tired and they resign and go home. You'll find the numbers fluctuating. They could be below 1,200 because of those things of people going out, natural attrition, and retirement. But Mutua alone hired 800 nurses. The last hiring that took place in 2012, before devolution, the whole nation, Ministry of Health hired 300 nurses. 300 for the whole country. So there are certain things that devolution brought that has helped our people. Like the number of nurses, the number of doctors has gone up. That's a fact. Infrastructure has improved. But the problem is we still don't have the numbers that we need. We still don't have, like in some county government, you remember the issue of managed medical equipment scheme. They took those equipment to some county government hospitals, which did not even have power. They did not have water. They don't even have a place to put those equipment. Up to now, some of those equipment have never been utilized because they don't have power, they don't have water, and they don't have human resource to use those facilities to treat Kenyans.
And yet someone made a lot of money from it.
Of course, yes. That was outright corruption. It was corruption because even you saw the governors, when that project was being launched in Nairobi, governors were not involved. They were not asked, what do you need? Because under capacity building, the national government must agree with the county governments. County governments must tell them this is what we need. So you order what is needed. But the situation where you are saying we are bringing, every county government must have 2 ICUs, must have this and this, and they have no capacity. So, and they were paying a lot of money, 200 million every year. 200 million, how much is that? And you say Kenya does not have money? As a joke. You know how many one CS can pay how many nurses? One CS alone. How many nurses government? If a CS is going to earn over $1 million, because they're going to earn slightly above the principal secretary. One CS alone. 1 million divided by 100,000 that the nurse has been getting. How many nurses are those?
It's a lot.
Many of them. So you can't say there's no money in the country when people are earning a lot. What we need is to stop being selfish, to stop looking at people working in essential services as and compare them with other workers, because I think what is important, when I look at some of the CS speak like they are from clubs, they have been drinking all the night, and then they come morning and they go to the media like in Akuria. When they come and say, now we are going to make everybody contract, so that you don't go on strike. Kirinyaka is on strike. Did why could not put all doctors on contract?
Yes.
They are on strike. So, and you hear another one say, oh, we are going to reduce the retirement age from 60 to 55. I mean, and then we'll pay pension at 65. They reduce your age of retirement from 60 to 55, then they want to pay you pension at the age of 65.
10 years
What is that? It's madness. Sometimes I wonder whether this is the government that I fought to put in place, or it is something different. Some of these people making pronouncement, you think they're just from drinking and they are just still drunk, and they go to the media and they speak. Because they are positioned, they have a platform, they can speak. But honestly speaking, the issue of reducing the retirement age and the issue of making work making employment in Kenya contractual will lead to a national strike. This doctor strike is just a tip of the iceberg. All of us will go on strike. All of us. All public servants.
It just doesn't seem to make sense.
How? How do you say you want to make everybody? In fact, it's not even going to be an issue of Kenya. We will go up to the National Labour Conference and will report Kenya, and we will case and we will win. And when we win, they will be told, go and rectify this policy you have put in place. And if they don't, sanction will follow. Some of these people are just talking because they don't know what happened on the international platform. Kenya is among the world community, and the world community has got rules that govern them. We are a member of the International Labour Conference, so you cannot do things which do not agree with the International Labour Conference conventions. For example, conventions on fair labour practices. Our interns run our hospitals. I'm telling you, they literally run our hospitals. I don't want to go into those details. So if they are doing the work that a qualified person is doing, then fair labor practice requires that work of equal value should attract equal remuneration. These interns are defined as workers in the Employment Act. So you cannot start saying they are students unless you have changed the law. But as long as the law remains the way it is in Kenya, those interns are students. Those interns are workers, are employees.
And yet they're only getting 70,000.
They are not getting, it has been reduced from 206,000 to 70. For nurses from 5,500 to 50,000. But I'm happy we went to court and we have a court order saying that circular has been stayed. Status quo remains as it were before that circular was issued.
For now?
Yes. And we are sure we'll win that case.
Do you think, for the most part, government takes nurses for granted?
I don't think they take us for granted. What I know is their priorities are misplaced. They don't look at important things first. They look at things which are not important. You have just told me about now confirming of the CAS. Now they're going to be hired about 50.
Yes.
You know, the other they had capped. But you see, the stroke came and said, who gave you the powers to come? You know, we don't have a parliament in Kenya. The most stupid parliament we have in this one, the one we have, the history of this country. They are a disgrace.
And yet we elected them.
Oh, some of them were never elected. If you go by election, I should be sitting in parliament today. I won Malaba parliamentary seat. I'm the elected member of parliament. The one who was never elected. So this parliament is full of guys who are never elected. Those who helped them to get those seats are now marioneting them. They are like marionettes. Go left, they go left. Some of them, even if they are told, go home and kill all the electorate so that you remain around, they will do it. You remember, they went there and passed a law saying, now if you take your sugar cane to Butari Sugar at home where I come from, that is my home company, now you have to have KRA and pay tax. 5% should remain at the company for the company to give to the government. You saw in Centro, the same member of parliament, they look so foolish. They go there in Centro and they tell people, you know, we passed this thing, we did not look at it. Where were you? At parliament should have made, and you are parliament. Which parliament are you talking about? So it's very unfortunate because there's no reason why you should have 3 arms of government in Kenya if they're all fused.
Yeah.
They are fused into one. So we are spending money and we have 3 arms of government, but we have 2 which are completely fused. Because the opposition which is left is very small, the impact cannot be had. Because parliament things go by numbers. So if the people who are defending the Kenyans are 50, and the Wingo poops are the rest, how will you win? You won't win anything. It doesn't mean that if you come from a political party which is in power, you make decisions which are going to hurt Kenyans. You say you are subsidizing fertilizer. Then tomorrow you want to tax the whatever comes from those the crops. So what have you done? Why you subsidizing fertilizer in the first place? Then you tax those farmers. We have a problem in this country. We are left the judiciary about 75% is gone. We have 15% functioning. So 75% of judiciary is gone. Parliament dead, finished, fused with the executive.
And the little opposition that was there, many of them were bought.
You saw my opposition. Me, I'm government. I formed this government. I'm standing with the vice chair of UDA. Today I'm sitting here.
You?
Yes. We formed this government. But the opposition came and joined us. Yeah. Now, they are the ones even, the opposition dead. Parliament dead. Kenyans are on their own. They are only left with the judiciary.
That's a sad situation.
And we must protect the judiciary. If they fight the judiciary, all of us as Kenyans, everybody, the media, the citizens, everybody, you must wake up and protect the judiciary. Otherwise, we will be dead, all of us.
That's a very sad situation to be in.
Very sad. Very sad. I don't know where you're headed to. But if you become critical like myself, you might never be elected in this country. Even if you win, they will never allow you. They say we don't want somebody who can critically think. They want somebody they can left, right, you go. Go and kill your mother so that you're left alone, you go and kill. Pass a law saying that all villagers, all people who are 70 and above should be buried, you pass. Then when they start implementing, you say, I did not see it. You know?
Yeah.
It's not allowed. We have right now, Parliament has money. Kenya has money. You had members of opposition saying, bring this thing of the doctors and the health workers in Parliament. Bring a supplementary budget. We pass so that these people go back to work. Has anyone taken a supplementary budget to Parliament? So if somebody say there's no money, who appropriate money? It's Parliament. But even if it goes to Parliament, it won't pass. Because Parliament is being marioneted. Ifanywa hivi kama ile kitu ya kucheza na maneno
kama puppet.
Puppet.
Yes.
So even if you take there and whoever is controlling the puppet does not want it, do not go anywhere. That's a fact.
Kwa hivyo ni kubaya
sana. We are at the worst situation.
Is there hope?
Of course there is hope. If there's no hope, I'll leave this country like yesterday.
Uende wapi?
Niende mahali kuna hope.
Uende Ulaya au ukuwe nasi?
But I can't run out of Kenya. I can't run out of this country. We will fight from this country. Tutakanyakana tu hapa ndani. I'll play my small bit that I can, so that when history is written, I'll be on the right side of history. I'll not fear. I'll continue doing what I have to do. Even if I make unpopular decisions, I'll stand with those decisions.
But it must be very frustrating for you.
It is. Do you remember 2017? We agreed with the government to increase salaries for, increase some allowances for nurses. Government went and refused to increase. When we went on strike, they told us, go back to our various employers. When we went back to various employers, they started paying. County started paying those increments. SRC came and said, if you pay, you will be surcharged. They stopped. We have stopped cuts at everybody. They know what to do to you. If you beat them in this, they bring this one. So that's the kind of predicament that we have. You have an institution called SRC that does not negotiate with you. It waits for you to negotiate. When you are through, it comes and rubbishes everything. And this, we are taking SRC to Kenya to International Labour Conference. We hope this year, because we filed that complaint last year. And we hope it should be coming this year, so that we say the International Labour Conference passes a resolution that the Constitution of Kenya must be amended to remove SRC or to amend the functions to stop interfering with collective bargaining agreements. You even had the head of public service, Felix, saying that there will be no CPS moving forward. How can you say there will be no CPS moving forward? You mean you want to infringe on the rights of the workers? Kenya is an independent country governed by the rule of law. Yes, that's how it is.
There's very little hope. The way you're talking, Seth, I don't know. What's the way forward?
No, the way forward for me, where I sit is that we will do what we have to do within our ability and within our capacity. We cannot sit back and complain and do nothing. We will negotiate, we will go to courts. If a time for strike comes, I'll be directed by our members to take action. But the way things are today, our members have said clearly they are not ready to go on strike. I only have one county that's on strike. That is Busia. And the strike is not related to going on national strike. It's about promotions and payment of arrears, which the Busia County government itself has agreed, because they went up to court. We processed that dispute properly. We went to court, they went to court, the county government of Busia agreed that they will pay within 90 days and promote my members within 90 days. And they said in court themselves, if we don't do that, they are free to go on strike. So that is a strike that was called by Busia County government, and there's nothing they can do about it. Even yesterday, the county secretary was saying their issues are changing, we are working on them.
Which means what? They're going to compensate?
They will. Because we follow due process. And that's why I insist on due process. Even if the government is doing things which are not right, you as a worker, you must follow due process. Because these are issues of national importance that draw the attention of the world. Where the International Labour Conference Director General can decide to write to any union in Kenya through KOTU and ask you to give the steps you followed on issuing that strike notice if it's really affecting Kenyans. Because what affects, like health sector, if nurses go on strike today, what we have achieved through communicable diseases will be rolled back, because immunization will stop instantly, and we start having things like yellow fever coming back. You can even have measles coming back. Not measles, these were leprosy. You can see it coming back. So the world, the International Labour Conference and the World Health Organization are very much keen on the nurses, because we are the people charged with the responsibility of making sure that preventable diseases are prevented through immunization and other things. And that's why when we went to strike in 2017, actually, the Regional Director General of WHO is the one who intervened. He's the one who caused the final meeting that actually led to return to work agreement. Because things were running out. And they said we can't allow to roll back what Kenya has achieved over years in terms of managing some of the communicable diseases that are managed through immunization. And a deal was struck. So it is a matter of international concern when health workers down their tools, because when you roll back the gains here, these gains will go to surrounding countries. When people fly in and fly out, you see like where this disease started in China, it spread throughout the world. So if there was an ability for the whole world to concentrate in China and keep that disease, they would have done it. So that's why they say when we prolong a strike in any country, in health sector, it becomes a concern of the whole world, an international concern.